don't attack me cause of all my politics. You ain't gotta deal with all this shit that I deal with. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black.
Yeah. I find it kinda sinning when you tell me how they think it, they reduce it to my melanin. Like I didn't pay the cost, so my brother took a loss for your chance of the donkey or the elephant, but neither one is relevant. This is for the blacks or the whites that are coming off arrogant, calling me a traitor for not following. I heard it's absurd, and I heard that it's even more prevalent when you don't understand what I've been through. And blood don't tell me who I'm kin to. That's determined in by the friends who share the same values as me. Don't pretend to act like you know everything that I need. Conservative in the way I believe, regardless of whatever you may perceive. I'm black and nobody can take that from me.
Don't attack me cause I ain't no Democrat. Said don't attack me cause I ain't Republican. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black. Said don't attack me cause of all my politics. You ain't gotta deal with all this shit that I deal with. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black.
Take that from me. Yeah.
This is my right as a citizen.
Know all of my rights.
My freedom cannot be limited.
I do what I want. Okay.
Think otherwise, then you ignorant.
Leave me alone because
And feed your body, and I'm different.
Don't attack me cause I ain't no Democrat. Said don't attack me cause I ain't Republican. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black. Said don't attack me cause of all my politics. You ain't gotta deal with all this shit that I deal with. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black. I'm still black.
I'll circle back if there's more I can share with you. I'll circle back with you if there's more to convey. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back with him. I'm happy to circle back with you. I can circle back. I have to.
It's pretty obvious we all know you're pretending. You have no actual facts for the lies that you're defending. Conservatives not the only ones who find it condescending. The real reason you circle back is cause you know it's never ending. Round and round and round you go, dancing like a puppet show. Just a simple yes or no. Thousands watching wanna know the truth. I guess there's too much to ask. Like why Biden was at the Lincoln Memorial without a mask, huh? Can't believe what I'm seeing now. Got everyone thinking now. Just how much you get paid. Only just to hear you say.
We'll circle back with you.
Circle back,
I'll have to just circle back with you.
circle back,
I'm happy to circle back.
circle back. Only just to hear you say. In the beginning, we tried giving you a chance, but it seems intimidating if reporters start raising hands. Is it better if we send you the questions far in advance? Honestly, all we really want is answers about your mans. This defense around the Capitol means it's for securing borders. With Harriet Tubman on the 20, who can we expect on quarters? If Trump decided to sign this many executive orders, will you consider him a dictator or truly support it? We wanna know. Can't believe what I'm seeing now. Got everyone thinking now. Just how much you get paid. Only just to hear you say.
We'll circle back with you.
Circle back,
I'll have to just circle back with you.
circle back,
I'm happy to circle back.
circle back. Only just to hear you say. Alright, Jen Saga, you're the blunt of the joke. But this message for anybody I see still fake woke. We see the strings of the vision that you all constantly stroke. And the fist full of propaganda you shove down our throats. Boy, I miss the days when we used to have Kaylee Mack. When they rapid fire questions, she would counterattack. How does it feel to know that we all caught on to the act? Let me guess.
But I will have to circle back with you on that as well.
Can't believe what I'm seeing now. Got everyone thinking now. Just how much you get paid. Only just to hear you say.
We'll circle back with you.
Circle back,
I'll have to just circle back with you.
circle back,
I'm happy to circle back.
circle back. Only just to hear you say.
All I really wanna do is vibe out. With me and you, I just wanna ride out. Love don't pay no mind to haters, baby, just jump inside of my space.
Oh yeah, that's right. What's up, Ivory Tower? How you doing? Doing good? I get that. That was not fun. Persevered a lot of it, but there was no way I could sit here long enough to finish the show. Mm. And spraying of Febreze. Sorry, buddy. A little crass, but it's true. Yes, yes. I am. I'm feeling much better. Uh, Luckily, it's just a little bit of food poisoning, but not too bad. So, speaking of food poisoning, or just poisoning in general, yeah, I did not. What mandate? Oh, which mandate? Because I mean, he's mandating so many different things, and he's so. I thought that was just a press release. That wasn't an actual presidential mandate. Okay. weekly. And those tests can cost up to $50 each. Yeah, it's this one. Hey, just real quick, two things. First, let's go, Brandon. Second, um, didn't he say he would never mandate stuff like that? Let's go, Brandon. Yes. Well, one, it's unconstitutional. Unconstitutional. I wish they would implement it. I wish they would implement it right now, because um, as things are progressing, um, it's only going to be worse for the Democrats because they are the only ones pushing this stuff. Even the rhinos are not pushing this. Oh, I can just imagine. I watched his news press conference. Um, what was it from Wednesday? Uh, the one he held in Tampa. Well, he told the story about how Let's Go Brandon started, which was absolutely hysterical. That was very funny. Um he talked about how Florida will not implement any of this mandate garbage. Um, he talked about quite a bit of different stuff. Talked about how um, last month they created 184,000 jobs, and Florida made up 83,000 of those 184,000. I wonder what we're doing right. We have the lowest uh, business tax in the entire country. We have the lowest per capita taxes throughout the entire country. We're number three in education in the entire country. Yeah. We were low for a while. Now we've moved up to number 3. Still, yes. No, would be much better, yes. And then we have the Florida has the highest participation in being able to choose your own school, whether it be private, whether it be um, public school, whether it be school choice, any of that. We have the highest participation in the entire country. Not yet. That's one of the things that DeSantis has been pushing since he got into office, and there's been a lot of pushback in the Senate. Who do you think? School boards. School boards. We mostly Republican Senate, yes. Miami, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, and Orlando. Yes. And because the school boards don't want it, I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't have the research yet for it. So I would have to say I don't know. And yes, I can say that. I can say I don't know something. I can say I haven't done the research yet. However, it doesn't mean I'm not going to. It doesn't mean I can't infer what I think should happen. And if I find out that, hey, I'm wrong, I'm more than happy to say, hey, everybody, guess what? I made a mistake. I'm human. I was wrong. And guess what? I'll own it. No, no. Only people that only to people that think that "Let's Go Brandon" actually means a race car driver. Nope. Yep. Well, not to mention police departments. Police departments. I know at least 12 different police officers who refuse to take the jab. They won't. So that means our city's going to be underserved, as it already is, understaffed. I mean, police departments across the country are understaffed because nobody wants to work for the police departments. They don't want to protect their community. They don't want to have to deal with a lot of the backlash that's been coming out because of nothing, because of fictional bigotry. Evolved. Yes, they've gone too far. Look at Canada. We don't even have to look that far away. Look at Canada. What has Canada done? The police departments have completely shut down all religion in the entire country. They've arrested people for opening up their small businesses. If that's not tyranny, I don't know what is. Seriously. Hmm. Yes. That's ideally what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be enforcing the Constitution. Yeah. In some aspects, yes, I will agree. So how do you curtail speeding? Because there's a lot of stupid drivers out there that will kill people. Yes, but they're going to kill not only themselves, but they're going to kill other people. But to I would disagree with that. No, no argument for me on that. No argument. There, definitely, I see it every day. I drive past it every day. On 436 and 434, some bozo decided to cut another guy off, and he ended up jumping down into a gully and ripping off the front end of his car. Yeah. Yeah. There's okay. So I'm gonna push back on you a little bit on this because I think correct. Yes. 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 They're just as bad as the super speeders. So how do you curtail that? How do you prevent people or discourage that type of behavior? So- Okay. Collecting money for the government. Yes. That's part of the reason why I agree with you in the fact that um, cops should not be allowed to take money from you. There's a little thing where no, but that's part of it. Correct. And illegal search and seizures, things like that. Um, I can't think of it at the moment either, but that goes right into the speeding tickets and giving the money to this entity to pay for more speeding tickets, more cops, more this, that, whatever. And then speed traps and things like that. Just it's that sort of thing is immoral. But I don't think cops being able to write speeding tickets is immoral. I think it's something that is needed. However, I don't think there needs to be full on patrols and speed traps and people actually going out looking for speeders. It should be a secondary part of their job, not a primary part of their job. Would you agree with me on that? That would be a good step back. Make it, you can still write tickets, and if you see something reckless, take care of it. If you see a DUI, take care of it. Arrest them, charge them, whatnot. But that's not your primary job. Your primary job is um, finding the drug dealers, finding illegal activity, things like that. Yeah. Welcome back. Nice. A better track record than me. That's impressive. So, getting into that, um, I don't think OSHA has any grounds to stand on for this mandate, and I think the moment they try to enforce it, they're going to either just stifle the economy to the point where people will just be like, "Nope, done." There's already companies that have cut their workforce down to 99, exactly 99, so they don't fall under that. Where they were 130, 140, nope, slash. Now back down to 100. We'll make things work. We just won't put as much output. Yes. And then it was attacked, which doesn't make any sense. They're not allowed to write laws and morals. Yeah. Well, to certain people.
I haven't been. I haven't had audio this whole time.
What? I've heard you.
Of course you heard me. Oh man.
Yeah, you've got audio. I just checked it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, we get a report that it wasn't on, and it looked like I was. muted. But either way, so it may go to court and it may not.
It will.
I mean,
It'll definitely go to court.
But it may
I know
not.
several
It may not
companies
get thrown
already-
out. It may not get thrown out, and so we're going to have to.
I hope-
We're going to have to fight.
Honestly, I hope it doesn't. You want to know why?
Why?
It'll piss people off to the point where they will vote red.
I hope so. But we can't just
I mean-
vote.
Look at Virginia. Look at Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look at Virginia, but voting is all fine and good. But it only happens every 2 years. So what, we're supposed to cower in fear and comply? No, we need to do more than just vote. We need to put our money
Get
where
out
our
in the
mouth
street.
is. Like, if you need to, man, and it's rough, man. But I feel like I'm gonna have to leave my job.
Is your company over 100?
Easily.
Okay.
Easily. And I don't think that I should, like, there's one thing about getting the mandate, but then they'll be like, but you can get tested. You know, just take the tests.
All right. Are you going to pay for it?
Yeah, exactly. And even then, no, I don't think that you have the right to force me to let people stick a thing in my nose. Like,
Steven Scott Crow. Cordell.
thank you for the like. Welcome to the Rube Empire.
Appreciate that. And I agree with you. I don't think they have any right to look into your medical.
To look into my medical
Anything.
history, to force somebody to violate my nostrils for a test
Over and over and over.
every week for a test. No. Yeah, and yeah, Death Hunter has a great point. And if you get the jab, will they be liable for any side effects?
Well, at this point, yes.
Not the pharmaceuticals won't.
Pharmaceuticals won't. Your employer will.
Hmm.
That's what the whole thing about
But the
Texas
employer
is.
can just pass it off. Well, OSHA's, we were just following OSHA's rules. So then, do we sue OSHA? Do we even have any legal recourse to sue OSHA if they? I mean, I guess we can. That doesn't mean that again it will end up in our favor. I feel like come whenever this thing goes into effect, if it goes into effect, that I will have to leave my job. That I will have to.
Well, we
or
can
I'll
do
have to
exactly
I'll have
what.
to not comply and make them fire me.
There you go. If they fire you for it, you have to get on. You'd be eligible for unemployment
And maybe a lawsuit.
and a lawsuit because who knows? It may be against your religion.
It may be unconstitutional.
Mostly unconstitutional, but against your religion.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
A lot of military have gone that route, and
Yeah, they
a lot of them have won that way.
I mean,
So
I hope so.
if it works for them,
Yeah, but we
Could work for
can't.
you.
We cannot. I think this needs to be the hill that we, as a people, who abide by these principles, who live by these principles of conservatism and liberty, and and whatever to say no more. Nope.
Yep.
This is not happening. I mean, and I would hope to see some companies say, no, we're not going to comply, and you can keep fining us, but, screw you.
Do not cross this line. Right here. No more.
Death Hunter, I hear you. He says he has to get the jab when the Department of Labor adopts this because he's a public employee. He has kids. Can lose his health insurance. You can't lose his health insurance. I hear you. I hear you, brother. But I'm in the same boat. I mean, I'm not a public employee. That's the only difference. But I got kids. I got it. Insurance, and
I just had to work in Amtrak.
I hear you, man. I if you don't hear the weight on my shoulders and on my heart, like, it's scary.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of uncertainty in that.
The question is, at what point do we take these stands? You know, like, what's the like? Let's look back to the founding. You know, I mean, these people had families. These people, I mean, they didn't have health insurance because that didn't exist at the time. But, you know,
they were lucky if you lived past 30.
Yeah, you know, these people had lots to lose, including their lives, because they were, you know, they were actually you know, engaging in an insurrection, as opposed to what happened. They had their lives,
their livelihood, their land, their country. Well, the beginnings of it, everything that they were, they put on the line for an idea, just an idea.
Yeah, well, and you know, and resistance against tyranny. Like, and the tyranny was like a penny stamp tax, you know, and there's a bunch of other things, but all of them seem kind of small in comparison to what we see nowadays, you know.
Here's the funny thing: they repealed the Stamp Act prior to the Revolution. They repealed the tax on tea prior to the Revolution. It didn't matter. They still implemented it. They still did it without any representation. That's why they went to war.
Yeah, I mean, and so I think this is far more egregious, and, you know, at least at this point, we're not going to lose our lives. But do we want it to get to a point where where we're also in danger of losing our lives? I just look into the future. Yeah, I'll get to you. I just look into the future, and I think they're going to keep taking ground. They're not going to stop taking ground.
That's where I was going.
So yeah, so where do we say no more? What is the line?
Is that 100 employees?
For me, this mandate is the line, and I think ultimately my family will be I think ultimately God will provide, A.
Yeah.
And B, I will have better served my family in resisting than in complying. And I don't say that to shame anybody who's listening, who feels otherwise. You know, I'm not about that.
Because, you know, the next step is less and less employees, then all employees, and then the next step after that is everybody else, and then shortly after that, all kids.
Mm-hmm. If you want your kids to go to public school, they gotta be mandated.
They gotta get the jab.
Also, and then at some point it'll just be all kids need to get the jab, whether they go to public school or not. And if you don't, you know, you'll be arrested and your kids will be taken from you.
So where does it end? When does it stop?
And when the Department of Children and Families, DCF, has no compunction in taking kids away from you. They don't give a rat's ass.
No.
They don't care.
No. Those kids don't belong to you at all.
DCF is one of the most disgusting
Heartless.
Yeah, federal or federal or even local whatever agencies, government agencies, that's what I want to say. They're one of the most disgusting government agencies in the world. But here's the thing, who's going to come alongside them to enforce it? The police.
Yep. And when will the police say enough is enough?
There will be some who do. There'll be some who do.
Yeah.
And good on them.
But will it be the majority? Will it be the majority? Because it only works if the majority.
We had
says,
that officer friend of Ray's come on, and he felt strongly that it would be.
I'd say maybe 30 to 40% of police officers would say no.
I agree.
That still leaves 60 to 70% that say, well,
not to mention,
he's the one in power. I'm just doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
I can't lose my job.
And then when they've lost 30-40% more of their workforce, they're going to need to take on people, and their standards are going to drop, and they're going to become an even more egregious group of tyrants.
It's going to be awful.
It's going to get worse.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
It's going to get worse unless we do something now.
Yep.
And we can always hope for regime change come 2024, right? We can always hope for a red wave in 2022.
Oh, there's going to be a huge red wave. It's going to overflow red. I just hope that it's not the same as 2016. What happened in 2016?
The same thing that happened when Bush was in office and we had a Republican majority. Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we need people in there that, like Dan Crenshaw, like
Rand Paul.
Oh, what is
Ted Cruz?
The guy from Texas, Ted Cruz. Thank you.
Yeah.
Need a lot more like Ted Cruz that is going to stand up and go, no, this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Stop what you're doing. We're stopping it right now. Congress will not pass this. You cannot do anything. You are a lame duck.
Yeah, I mean, true.
And start reversing his mandates by passing laws. Laws that make sense. Laws that are simple.
Well, they have
the best laws are simple.
They have review powers over these mandates.
Exactly.
But what's the track record? Like, I don't have any hope in that. We need to get people. Sure, we do need to get people in. That doesn't mean they will. And then that doesn't mean that they'll get in there and actually do anything. Or be able to do anything. Like, I think Ted Cruz and these people have done things, important things.
I think
they fought the fight, but it doesn't matter if Mitch McConnell is still in charge of the hierarchy, It doesn't matter if
just it.
Any of the bills that they present never go anywhere. If
we get more people in there, like Ted Cruz,
sure,
like
but that
Dan
requires
Crenshaw,
that requires it requires at least two things: a public that is informed, and that the person that they are informed about is actually an honest dealer.
Sure.
None of the track record of that is abysmal. We have a handful of people. There's Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene and the three we mentioned before, and
We need,
And that's it.
essentially, we need people who aren't afraid to go toe to toe with AOC, to go toe to toe with these absolute loonies
Yeah.
like Nancy Pelosi, and call them out on the absolute baloney right there on the
we
floor.
definitely do need that. But what I'm asking then is, but if it doesn't happen, which I don't think that we have much reason to believe that it would. Except that, clearly, obviously, sentiment. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, we got the chants, we got, the resistance that you're seeing, like 9,000 workers in New York City are not working because they refuse. They
refuse to get the jab.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them.
And so like there's little hints of that, but that does not mean that these people chanting, and these people refusing to get the jab really understand. Like, our civic education has been terrible, Yeah. Like, we know what we know because we actually went out and sought the information.
Yeah, we hunted it down. I
just
self-educated.
Because people are pissed off about Brandon doesn't mean that they're going to then, educate themselves on the political system. They're just going to go, oh, this guy looks like a good guy and he's not. He's a Republican, so
he's got an R in front of his name.
And so, like, the D's didn't work, so let's go to the R's. But that doesn't mean that their choice was good.
We need more stuff like this truck driver in Virginia who spent $153 registering himself as a candidate and beat the incumbent Democrat who spent $4.8 million
wow.
on his campaign and lost.
That's awesome.
Versus the truck driver, who spent $153. Now, this truck driver did several YouTube ads. And I got to say, I love his YouTube ads. They were fantastic. Really, this guy is going to be the guy that we're talking about. This active, fighting for, us. And we need more of that.
For sure. Agreed.
Us, you and me, us type of people running for office, fighting against these Democrats, and them just throwing money away in the extreme to where they can't afford to do anything.
Yeah, but I don't think that they can't. I don't think that there's a. I don't think there's a limit to their wealth. The individual.
Oh, there's a limit.
There's a limit, to a certain degree, but I mean, the globalists will spend what they need to spend, to get their will enacted, right?
Okay.
But that being said, we do need people to rise up. But let's say, again, it's 2022, it's 2024, it doesn't happen. Like 2022 happens, we get a red wave, but 2023 comes along and 2024 comes along and nothing's changed. Maybe they repealed the mandate at that point, but has anything really significant other than that happened? No.
Maybe they could curtail some of this extreme spending, force the government to shrink.
Yeah, but this is all hopeful thinking. It's not a plan of action.
Make the House start doing what they're supposed to be doing. Hey, who knows? Maybe, and this is a pipe dream, they pass a term limits.
Yeah.
3 terms and you're out. You know,
I mean, yes,
have
these are
term
all
limits in the House.
big maybes.
Make the House
big
actually
ifs.
pass a budget.
These
Make it constitutional where they have to have a balanced budget.
all those things would be really nice. But all of
Florida
those
did
things
it.
are big ifs and big maybes. And
Florida did it.
yeah,
If a state can do it, a federal government can do it. A state has mandates on how long the governor can stay in office, how long the state senators can be in office, and we passed a mandate that we have to have a balanced budget in order for the government to operate. So if our state can do it, and we all did that, I think it was in the last 20 years that all this has come about. I may be wrong on that. I may be off on that, but I know it's been recent.
Well, cool. So
that all of this stuff
we'll just keep getting
has
boosters
happened.
For years until we get that taken care of. Good job. That sounds like a plan.
What?
Well, we'll just all get the jab and keep getting boosters until we can, until we can make that happen.
I'm just saying, I think Florida's going to fight against this.
Yeah, I agree. It is.
I don't think DeSantis is going to let that happen.
Yeah.
He's not going to allow Floridians to leave their jobs.
I think on a political scale, Florida needs to isolate itself from the rest of the union. Like, nope, you're not coming here. The federal government has no... So we're Florida now. National divorce.
Yeah, secede.
Secede.
Secession.
But on a personal scale, we have to resist. If enough people resist and businesses have no employees and the economy just tanks, or start our own economy or what I would really like to see is businesses resist as well. Like, no, I'm not going to mandate this on my employees, and you can fine me all you want, but come take my money. Come and try to take my money, you piece of crap. Take your money out of the banks and put it somewhere safer where they can't come in and take it.
Well, I don't know that the CDC can take it.
Well, but the IRS can. I mean, they can put
the IRS could.
Yeah, but I mean, they have it's the federal government. It doesn't matter what agency is doing what. The federal government can just put a levy on your income, and then it happened to me. I owed money on my taxes because I couldn't afford to pay it one year, and then all of a sudden I have a $300 paycheck, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And it turns out they were garnishing my wages, and that's when I became serious about politics. And they can do that. They just find your bank. They find your bank account for the business, and then suddenly you've got $1,014,000 fines. But if it's not in a bank account,
if it's
but I don't know
tangible goods.
But we need banking. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah,
like
you have to pay your employees somehow.
Yeah, you have to pay your employees. You have to, you have to get paid in whatever way. You
have to make money.
And on top of that, like you've got the credit card companies and the and like the like PayPal's and the Stripes that'll just they'll
roll
just
over.
ban you from their systems. It's It's where Bitcoin comes in.
We're not financial
We're
advisors,
not.
but buy Bitcoin.
You can take and give and accept payments through Bitcoin. Instant payments now. There's an app called the Breeze app. And I can send you money, and you can send me money instantly.
Might be a nice alternative to paychecks.
You know, I mean, maybe they force us into a separate economy. You know what would be awesome to see Florida adopt Bitcoin as a viable payment system. You know,
if an employer pays you through Bitcoin, just straight pays you,
it's still considered income.
Would you be?
Yeah,
it's still considered income. Would you be then 1099 instead of a W-2?
I don't think so. I don't think the manner of payment matters. It's just, are you a contractor or are you an employee?
Yeah. Interesting. Food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
And with that,
maybe
I think we've pretty well.
Yeah. I wonder if the mandate, if the mandate covers, even talks about contractors. You know, if it's only 100 employees, and so businesses just go, okay, well, you're all contractors, and you'll all get a nice little bonus at the end of the year that covers my portion of what would be your taxes.
So instead of paying 25% in taxes, like a 1099 employee would, and I have, no fun, let me tell you.
Yeah.
They would give you here's the 15% I normally would pay you.
Yeah, here's my coverage of Social Security and stuff that would normally get done, but we had to do this so that you would, not
continue to be paid.
Yeah. Not be screwed by the federal government.
Yeah.
But on a personal level then, some of us may have to quit. If you really strongly feel conviction on this, follow your conviction. And trust the Lord that He gave you that conviction and that He will provide for you. And I mean, the Bible talks about His provision. The Bible speaks of His provision and how He takes care of the birds of the field and and the plants and all the stuff, and how much more will He take care of you?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, life is imperfect,
and stuff happens,
and it'll be rough, and stuff happens, but we cannot just bank on, at some point it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yes. And here's the thing, even if we do vote red, Republicans are not the answer. They're part of the problem.
Yes.
I'm not a Republican. I really don't like Republicans for the simple reason the Republicans are less bad Democrats.
Yep.
That still makes them bad.
Yeah.
And what makes them bad? They still want big government.
Because big government makes them rich. That's why we need to dismantle the government.
It makes them rich and makes them powerful. Neither one I'm okay with.
Anarchy, folks.
So.
Anarcho-capitalism.
Yeah. Libertarianism. Constitutional libertarianism.
Well, anarcho-capitalists would say that anarcho-capitalism is just libertarianism followed through all the way logically.
And we'll have this debate forever. And I love it. It's a good debate.
Yeah. And now, let me say, I'm not 100% convinced on anarchism, but man, it's speaking to me really strongly, and I want to do more. I want to ingest more of these ideas and see where they take me. And maybe I come
Viva
back.
la revolution.
What's that? What'd you say?
Viva la revolution.
Yeah. You know, I mean, there's obviously the anarchy that we think of as chaos, and there's, you know, communist anarchists and crap like that, which is, you know, laughable. Well,
okay, first off, let me break that down, because that is a oxymoron.
Yeah.
Communist anarchist. That's like saying a democratic socialist. It's an oxymoron. It doesn't exist. They're diametrically opposed positions.
But there was a guy in. I was in. There's this dude on Twitch named Cinco Symposium, and he plays games and then has, you know, conservative media playing in the background, and so there was a dude in his chat talking about anarchy and communism, you know, and it's like, no, anarchists hated, real anarchists, even anarchists who would consider themselves left, hated communism.
Yeah,
you know, they hated it. But there's also liberty. I mean, the anarchist is liberty minded. You don't have the authority to the only authority you have is to yourself, and I have the authority to myself, and the only thing that I can do to compel you to do something is convince you.
So it's in a lot of ways it's a lot like libertarianism.
Well, it's
the
the
thing I like about
non-aggression
libertarianism.
principle. What's that?
The thing I like about libertarianism is it's still got some systems in place that we need. We need an army.
Why can't those things be done privately?
I think a collective of people, like for an army, is better.
Well, no, but I mean, we can do that without it being a government thing. Like, if it was a...
Can we, though? Then we would have competing armies within...
I'm not saying competing armies. Like, we can come to an agreement as a group of people that there is an army. But that army be a not-for-profit entity, you know? Like, where you donate if you want to donate, and we do the best. I mean, it may be total crap. I don't know. Maybe, or maybe it'll be incredible.
I just don't see how it would work.
Well, I mean, I don't see how it would work. Blackwater and things like that, you know, security forces.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're security forces. They are not armies.
No, they're not armies.
They cannot do what armies do.
They're not armies, for sure.
They can't afford to build tanks or navies or, for that matter, an air force.
Yeah, but
and they cost an absolute fortune.
Why?
Because
the government
they're expensive.
will pay it.
They can.
Because the government has no limit to their money.
And then
it's the same reason. It's the same reason college is so expensive. But continue.
It's mercenaries. Okay, Blackwater are essentially mercenaries, right?
I agree. Yeah,
they're paid military. Who's to say this entity over here that we don't like, or that we are, that is trying to fight against us, pays them more to fight with them? Where's the loyalty?
I don't know. I don't care.
That's the type of stuff that I have issue with.
So maybe listen.
That's where libertarians.
Here, where I'm at, I'm completely spitballing. All right, completely spitballing because I haven't looked into this enough.
And I am completely devil's advocate here. I am just all right.
Well, like
here's a whole logic, and let's see if I can't throw some stuff through it.
I haven't gone into like these are the questions that I have. Let's say, you know, like I have this same exact question. Like, what about an army? Armies are a
Yes.
necessity, right? I have that exact same question, and I'm just spitballing on what the ideas might be. But I know that there are
Yes.
people who have really deeply thought about these issues, you know, and so I want to research them. Is what I'm saying. Is ultimately what I'm getting at. But we have the other side of what I'm getting at is that we have these things that are instantiated in our mind, right? That are driven into our head as being just the way it is, right? It's just the way it is.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, well, that's my question. Does it? Is that just the way it is? Does it have to be that way?
No.
Is there an alternative?
Anything can change.
But if we're not
Anything
even
can change.
willing to question whether or not there's an alternative, yeah, we're never going to get anything changed. Nothing will change.
Well, here's the thing. Just because you want something to change, and just because it does change, doesn't always mean that the change is good.
Sure, of course. The goal would be for the
Look at
change
what's
to
happening
be
currently.
a better. We would change for the better, you know.
Yeah.
And here's
We're the
the
bumblebee.
premise. Here's the basic premise of anarchism. The government is a problem. Let's
Okay.
eliminate the government so that we eliminate that problem. Other problems will arise. Let's deal with those problems
Yes.
when they do. Obviously, other problems will
I
arise.
prefer to head off problems prior to them becoming problems.
And the government does
If
that?
I can see, somewhat, not very well.
Nah.
Yeah.
You know who does? Really well, in a lot of cases? Private industry.
Smaller private industry,
Yeah.
yes. Larger ones
Yeah,
have
I
too
mean,
much
but
inertia.
here's the thing. That's the other thing is that the claim from anarchists, like monopolies, only happen because of the government.
That is true.
So these giant corporations are able to become giant. In part, you know, it's obvious. Like Google became Google because it had the best search engine out there.
Yes.
But
Still does.
yeah, for sure. But it also is in bed with the government, big time.
Yeah.
You know, it's the reason why Facebook wants to be regulated, so that it can eliminate its competition, any competition. You know?
Yeah.
The government is the problem. And I have a hard time denying these arguments.
And I will agree with you most of the time. Colleges, government is the problem. Schools, government is the problem. Businesses, government is the problem. Law enforcement, usually government is the problem. Healthcare, usually government is the problem. It's the grander stuff, like how do we stop a country like Russia from invading us with anarchy?
Well, in a system like anarchy, it would behoove everybody to be well armed.
And I'm not arguing that either.
So that would probably be, that would probably be a pretty decent deterrent. But again,
Somewhat, yes.
you're right about like supersonic space missiles with nukes attached. You know, that's a thing.
And that's something that governments are very good at deterring.
When they want to.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
But then we have to cede all our authority and comply with all their will in order for that, this is This comes back to the dangerous freedom or the peaceful slavery. But either way, we could go on for hours, and we're already an hour into
Seriously.
this. So, thank you for watching.
So much for half an hour.
Yeah. Thank you for enduring our thought exercises. I hope you enjoy
Free
it.
the
I
bumblebee.
enjoy engaging in the thought
Thank you.
exercises. If you
Death Hunter,
yes.
thank you for coming out.
Yes. Thank you for everybody in the chat for participating. If you notice, there's a ticker up top. We're trying to raise funds by December 14th to keep the multi stream going. So if you can help us out, please do. There's a donation link down below. You'll find it in the About section on Twitch and in the liner notes everywhere else. We appreciate you. You've been watching Plausible Foolishness.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, yeah?
Free the bunny. I have to respond to this because it is not a good thing.
Bumblebee.
It is probably one of the worst things that could ever be mandated because it completely goes against every principle of any conservative anywhere.
Or just any principle of liberty.
Yeah.
You don't, if you care
Any
about
kind of
freedom,
mandate is against liberty at all. So, no, it's not a good thing.
All right. You've been watching
Hunter,
Plausible
thank you.
Foolishness, home of the Rube Empire, where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary, and we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, anywhere you can get a podcast, Rumble, Instagram, and minds.com. Peace out.
When you tell me how they think it, they reduce it to my melanin. Like I didn't pay the cost, so my brother took a loss for your chance of the donkey or the elephant, but neither one is relevant. This is for the blacks or the whites that are coming out arrogant. Calling me a traitor for not following. I heard that's absurd, and I heard that it's even more prevalent when you don't understand what I've been through. And blood don't tell me who I'm kin to. That's determined in by the friends who share the same values as me. Don't pretend to act like you know everything that I need. Conservative in the way I believe, regardless of whatever you may perceive. I'm black and nobody can take that from me. Don't attack me 'cause I ain't no Democrat.